I don't think anything I'll say about cheating in Tarkov will be a surprise to you at this point. It's been a problem for years. It was a huge problem 3 years ago, and it's still a huge problem now. It'll always be a problem, and we can only hope that countermeasures by BSG will only improve at a faster rate over time. You've also probably seen Goat's recent video on the matter. I have mixed feelings about the video, both positive and negative, as do many others. Nothing I can say will bring anything new to the table, as every opinion on it has already been said to death, and there will be both plenty of people agreeing and disagreeing with me like anyone else. But Goat's video isn't what we're here to talk about today. What I want to talk about instead regards some of the conversations I've seen more frequently since the video went out, mainly surrounding Tarkov streamers and accusations of cheating. Do big streamers cheat? Or are they just good at the game? Well, let's talk about it. I'm here to teach Tarkov. I want to show you how to analyze a fight and figure out what went right and what went wrong. But first, let's state some hard truths. First, there are lots of cheaters in Tarkov, significantly more than most other FPS games, and BSG is clearly having a tough time keeping up with the problem at the rate players would expect. Next, it's extremely hard to call out who's cheating and who isn't most of the time due to the limited information we have about our opponents every raid, unless, obviously, they're a blatant rage hacker. Next, you are not able to compare Tarkov to other FPS games. Just because you have 10,000 hours in Counter-Strike or 20 years of FPS game experience does not mean you have any extra knowledge as a Tarkov player. Tarkov is not a traditional FPS game. It has complicated mechanics and an overwhelming amount of variables that contribute to every PvP engagement. But on top of those, it has loads of technical issues, namely the infamous desync, which makes cheat detection based off of visuals often impossible. Lastly, if you're watching this, there's a high chance that you don't play this game for a living. But let's say you're a frequent player. The only game you play is Tarkov. You have a full-time job or go to school and get 3 to 5 hours to play a day, depending on how much free time you have. Most full-time streamers play every single day for 8 to 10 hours a day, and sometimes longer, or more off-stream if their content creation requires it. That means they're playing sometimes around 70 hours a week or more, almost double the time you probably spend working your job. With that said, try to understand that in many situations, playing this game is completely natural to them at this point. In any PvP engagement they get in, they probably already experienced the exact same way hundreds of times over. I'm not saying there aren't people who stream themselves cheating, because there definitely are and have been from time to time. But what I do want to encourage is questioning every engagement without jumping to conclusions. You shouldn't call out cheating simply because you can't immediately wrap your head around what happened. Try to take a step back and analyze all the information in front of you. But let's not waste any more time. Are big streamers cheating? I pulled some examples of frequently posted clips where streamers were accused of cheating. Some recent, some older, but all definitely still relevant. Let's get started.
All right, to start, let's look at the infamous Lvndmark KS23 flashbang clip. You've probably seen it. It's been around for a while. It's titled Lvndmark 100% Cheater No Contest. So yeah, let's just watch through it real quick.
Oh, fuck me, bro.
Okay, so a couple things to note here. How did he know where he was going? Well, to start, he plays this game more than 99.9% of the player base. It's no surprise that he would easily be able to navigate the map without actually having to see anything. He's ran Factory thousands of times at this point over the years, and plus Factory has been around forever. It really hasn't changed that much, so there's not really much else to say. I mean, think about it like this. You could probably walk around your own house with your eyes closed without looking at anything, you know? This guy probably walks around in Tarkov more than he walks around in his own house. So that's all that really needs to be said there. Secondly, how did he not die? Well, here's the thing. He is being shot at by the other players. You'll see his health starts to tick down a bit here and there. They're getting some hits on him. They're not really dealing that much damage. And he also didn't go very far. He went from the red door spawn next to like the Postman Pat sort of spot, and then he turned around and basically jumped down toward the tunnels. Overall, he didn't really go that far, so they had plenty of opportunity to kill him, but they were just missing. That's really all there is to it. If they were a better opponent, then he probably would have died. Next, and probably the most commonly damning thing about this clip, why is he constantly looking to the left? Well, here's the thing. He only has a couple things to work with. He has audio cues. He has his knowledge of his surroundings and how to get around the map. And outside of waiting for the flashbang effect to go away, he doesn't have any visual cue to work with other than looking at his health in the corner of the screen. So that's why you see him constantly looking to the left, looking to the center, looking to the left, looking to the center. Using that little health thing in the corner, that helps you determine so many decisions in the middle of a fight. If I'm fighting anybody in this game, I am constantly looking up there just as much as I'm looking forward before I take any swing, before I even jump, before I do anything, because I have to make sure that, you know, I'm going to make a completely different decision if my health looks a bit like his than if both my legs are blacked and my stomach is blacked and I got a heavy bleed, you know? It's going to completely change the way I move and completely change the way I approach the fight. Here's a little thing. Look at me right now. This is me if I was in this fight. I'd be looking over here constantly. This is me looking at the corner of my screen. This is what you're seeing him do. And, you know, outside of that, there's really not much else to say about this clip. He got lucky. Yes. Should he have died? If it was a better opponent, then yeah, he probably would have died pretty quick. Yeah, that's really all there is to say about this clip. We can move on to the next one. All right, really quick, I just wanted to show a similar clip where I was in a very similar situation. I am fighting in duo, I get flashed, and I end up repositioning, and I kill both of them, actually. It's a little bit old, it's from 12.11, but it's still completely relevant. Just watch it and you'll see. All right, so, I mean, you see very similar situation, similar spot on the map. I round the corner, I get flashed, and immediately I'm like, oh shit. The closest place I know to get down to is turning around, going around the tunnel, and going around the corner. So I did exactly that. I end up getting flashed a second time, so I am blind this entire time, and I am completely spamming left click. I am just praying I'm shooting them, and I am shooting the direction I heard the shots. That's the best I could do, and I ended up killing both. Again, if they were better players, I would have 100% died. So yeah, we can move on. All right, next up is this clip of Worrun, another guy that I see get accused of cheating all the time. I haven't really seen any clip of him that, you know, proves anything at all, but this is apparently one of the clips that is a real gotcha, but I will kind of show you otherwise. But let's just watch it. What?
I thought that's kind of lol.
Okay, so we don't have the full context here, but pretty much the moment that everyone bugs out about is right here when after he kills the first scav, he swings the stairs and he shoots the wall right there. Clearly he knew there was another scav here because he says, oh, I thought that scav, whatever, or maybe he didn't. Whatever. So you got to remember again, this guy has probably swung these stairs thousands of times at this point. I've done the same thing where I'm going through an area that I have been through thousands of times. And at that point, like I swing these factory stairs the same way every single time. I look for players in the same exact spots. Sometimes when you're just kind of droning through it, barely paying attention, you just notice a pixel that's off or something. You notice maybe a smudge that is there that maybe you didn't notice before. And your immediate reaction is, oh shit, I'm going to shoot this. I honestly do this on a daily basis. If I'm walking through a building that I've walked through hundreds of times and I second guess any little thing, I am snapping to it and I am shooting the crap out of it, even if it's just like a bag on the ground. And then I laugh about it and I move on as if nothing ever happened. Of course, it looks weird, but when you've done this so many times, that sort of thing just kind of happens sometimes, especially when you're kind of not really fully paying attention. Here's another clip of myself where I'm in a very similar situation to the clip we just looked at. You'll see I'm fighting a player in a position that I've fought hundreds and hundreds of times over in the exact same spot, the exact same way. And as I swing upstairs, I must have seen something out of the corner of my eye to the res screen in the moment to think that this guy was sitting over on the trash bags and I snapped to him, even though I was already up the stairs at that point. Like I said, when you've done this so many times and then you're just like half paying attention, sometimes you just see the littlest thing and you're like, oh shit, I don't remember that little like paint chip on the wall or something. I don't know. It literally just happens. Just watch the clip.
I'm running in the first front door. Nice.
Good shit, Johnny.
Okay, so watching it back, I think when I heard that little footstep in that moment, it made me snap to the right where I heard that footstep and shoot. I assume that's probably what it was. This is an old clip again. This is 0.12.12.1 from May 15th, 2022. Yeah, I don't remember the full context of everything going on, but yeah, just a similar clip where I'm shooting a wall where there's a guy. Now here's a recent clip of Dylhero. We actually have the opponent's perspective on this one, which is pretty cool. So we get to see both sides of the fight. Really, actually, we should probably start by watching Dylhero's view. You'll see how he swings into the office on the bunker and reserve, and he, just swings right around the corner. He looks to the right. Pretty much, I would do the same thing as I'm clearing those rooms. I'm kind of moving in, looking to the right, assuming that someone's going to be tucked in the corner. But as he scans, he realizes that there's a player right in front of him. He snaps back, takes him out. He's using an MP7, and it's a laser beam. So, he kills the guy pretty quickly. Yeah, let's watch his perspective first.
That was quick.
And that's it. He pretty much ran into the room, snapped to the guy, got a quick head eyes because it's a laser beam of a gun. Now, from the opponent's perspective, this is what it looked like.
I bet that kid's upstairs. Oh, is he down here?
Oh, he's cheating. He's cheating. Run. He's full cheating. Just run.
You,
He's full blatant. He's just spin botting again. Go.
So while this is kind of an unfortunate situation, it's not really the player's fault for thinking that Dylhero was cheating here. This is just classic Tarkov desync. You can see when the player dies right here, Dylhero is literally still completely sideways. Dylhero did do this motion when he swung into the room. He looked to the right and swung back left. It was very, very quick on Dylhero's part, which is it was just a good play. But from the opponent's perspective, it happened so fast that server can't keep up with it, and this is what he sees. Now, we encounter situations like this all the time where, you die to desync, you die around the corner from a player that you don't even see yet. Like sometimes I die and the opponent literally isn't even on my screen, and then as I'm falling to the ground, their legs are swinging around the corner. It just happens, and unfortunately, that is just kind of the state of Tarkov currently and has been for a long time. Desync has been an issue, and it is very hard to tell the difference between desync and cheating. And if you don't know this already, a lot of players base their play style around desync at this point because it hasn't changed in so long. So you do certain plays because you know that you'll be so quick that you'll have seeker's advantage or whatever you want to call it. You'll be able to kill somebody before they even see you if they're sitting still. That's just one of the unfortunate truths about the game right now. That's not taking away from how good of a player he is. I'm just saying that this player literally had no time to react, to shoot, or anything by the time he was dead. And that's just Tarkov currently, unfortunately. All right, here's another good one, this time of Smitty. Basically, the opponent accused him of cheating. The opponent was hiding in a bush. Smitty saw him through the bushes. So here we go. Let's watch the clip.
Yeah, and that was
there a guy in that bush? What are you doing in that bush, man?
hiding.
Okay, so this is a pretty simple one. Just an inexperienced player claiming cheats because he doesn't really understand how the game works. So you have a guy sitting in a bush. If you know anything about bushes in Tarkov, the second you touch a leaf at all or a tree or anything, it makes this leafy noise. That noise is sometimes louder than walking or running. It is so loud and it can be heard from very far away. You'll hear as Smitty moves up, he's in conversation. As he approaches the boxes, he hears the bush. He says, heard a man in that bush. So then he moves behind the car to start pre-medding. It gives him time to listen again for any more movement. While pre-medding, you hear the bush again. It's very loud. You can hear exactly where the guy is. A little bit to the right. He looks that direction perfectly, lines himself up, and then he starts voiping the guy. The guy then voips in the bush again. Further confirmation of exactly where that player is. So then he knows at that point, I have a player sitting in a bush. They're probably not that good at the game. They haven't even tried to fight me yet. So then he does the whole jumping on top of the car, jumping onto him and taking him out in a pretty cool way. There isn't really much else to say about this one. Again, it's just a player that doesn't really understand the audio calling cheats because they think they're completely quiet. Guaranteed, whenever you think you're quiet in this game and there's a player approaching you, they probably already heard you. That's why whenever I'm teaching people, I always say, if you hear someone rolling up, don't stop moving because they probably already know you're there. They probably heard you as they were rolling up. Let's say you're in dorms and someone's approaching the building. They are outside and they can probably hear you clunking around the wood or the stairs or the glass or everything else while you are unable to hear them from the inside yet. It's just the way Tarkov audio works. And yeah, just something you have to learn. All right, here we have Gingy, a player that is constantly all over Reddit accused of being a cheater. I looked super hard and I could not find a single clip justifying any of these claims. This was one I saw from a couple days ago, posted in the comments somewhere, and I figured this would be, the best one to share. It's recent and they claim aim lock. So here we go. Let's watch the clip. All right, so a couple things to note here. You'll see she's fighting a duo on streets. When she starts fighting the first guy, you'll see he shoots her through this doorway right here, and then he starts to move left where she expects him to be walking over towards this window. So she starts to aim this window, but as she's swinging over there, you can see just as quickly, this guy takes a step back to the right, and she has a brief moment to snap towards him and shoot. It's a very short distance snap. It's not like she did a full 180 and snapped to someone's head like 50 meters away. This guy is right in front of her and she literally had to just move an inch. It really doesn't look suspicious at all. It's a normal good aim. Again, this chick plays this game more than 99.9% of the community. Her aim is going to be good. Watch it back at half speed here. She gets shot at in the doorway. She thinks he's about to peek left. Then you can see him. He snaps back. Good aim, lucky shot. Again, you can see the whole, she's looking up at her health, sees where she's at, reevaluates what she's going to do next. She clearly doesn't push because she's messed up and she continues to sit behind the box. She then uses audio to track where the next player is going to be. You'll hear him walk from over here over to the window and stop moving. Again, this is another thing I teach people all the time. If you stop moving and you're fighting a player, that player is going to remember where that moving stopped and know exactly where you are. You have to keep moving if you want to win fights. If you're sitting still, players are going to remember exactly where you are. They will remember where the last sound they heard was, and they're going to be able to get an easy shot on you, like you see here. Let's crank up the volume a little bit. Hear him stop. You realize that he took a step to the left and she's kind of sitting there for a minute thinking, or not a minute, but she's sitting there for a second and thinking that he's going to push back to where his friend died, but he doesn't. So she just peeks over by the window, shoots, takes him out. Again, you just have another experienced player using audio and visual cues to win a fight. Now, of course, I could do this for a bunch of other clips and stuff, but these were just the first couple that I came across tonight when I was kind of looking through things. I keep seeing all over online people calling cheats on streamers just because they are good at the game and because they play well. They don't really have that much clarification for it. I'm not saying that there aren't cheating streamers. I am saying that you need to make sure that before you call cheats, you actually fully evaluate the situation and try to think from the player's perspective, what they were hearing, what they were seeing, what they were thinking, everything they had to work with in that moment. Also, the fact that they're going to be pretty decent at the game. A few of these streamers I watch all the time. I have nothing against any of these guys. They're all good players. And I'm just trying to, open people's eyes up to the fact that there are players that cheat. Cheating is very prevalent in Tarkov, but just because a player is good does not mean they're a cheater.
To wrap things up, I want to say again, I'm not saying that cheating isn't prevalent. I'm also not saying that there aren't streamers out there who cheat. What I am trying to do is motivate you to analyze fights and figure out how they were won. What information did the winner have? What mistakes did they avoid? What mistakes did the opponent make? Taking the time to figure all this out can make understanding a fight in Tarkov a lot easier and maybe add some better clarification to whether or not a player is cheating.